Hey y'all! So I'm here, it's Friday night of week 8. I'm here to give my update. Figured I would wait till Friday night since that is the end of the work week and this was my first week back to work. The first full week back to work anyway. Um, I'm happy to say that there wasn't really anything exciting that happened at work. I did actually get ill last weekend, so I had my very first stomach flu since surgery, and have been dealing with a lot of nausea and a lot of stomach pain since then. It's an interesting thing that they don't really talk to you about when you're getting ready for surgery. Um, they don't talk to you about what it will be like when you get ill. And a lot of times, you're sitting there thinking, I really hope that that doesn't happen anytime soon. But when you have surgery during the middle of the winter or the end of the fall, beginning of the winter season, uh, you really can't avoid a lot of illnesses. Usually it's, colds and things like that, but I actually caught a stomach bug, and that was probably one of the worst things that I could have done, but I am happy to say I didn't end up back in the hospital. That was a possibility. It almost came to that last Saturday, but I did manage to stay at home. But a couple of things that I learned through that is, or are, one, you can get nauseous in both of your stomachs at the same time. I didn't really think about that possibility, but it made sense once it happened. Because with the gastric bypass surgery, of course, you have like your tiny tummy, which is what I call mine. I don't have a name for it or anything. I just call it tiny tummy, which is, the size of an egg. It's 2 to 3 ounces, and so it's not a lot of room. Not a lot of room to eat, and not a lot of room to be sick. But then you also have your detached stomach that's still in there, still making body fluids and helping you digest. So when you catch a stomach bug, a lot of people, they'll think like, well, you'll only have the exposure of whatever you caught to your tiny tummy. You don't have it in the other stomach. But the thing is that if you're ill with something that is systemic, as in like it's in your body, your bloodstream, it's causing you fevers, it's causing you headaches, it's not going to stick in just that tiny tummy. It's going to possibly affect all of your stomach. And so both pieces of stomach can get sick. Both pieces can feel like they want to throw up, but only one piece can. And in a way, it's good because it's only the piece that can hold a tiny amount, so you don't end up throwing up tons and tons and tons. But what it does result in is your detached stomach feeling really sick and not having a place to be sick, or having diarrhea. And so I actually ended up getting sick and losing about 4 pounds in a day. I became slightly dehydrated. I did not feel well at all. My stomach hurt. I was very nauseous. I almost ended up back in the hospital. I managed to mildly pull muscles in my torso from the heaving that happened. I well, let's just say I don't recommend it. I'm glad that I've had the experience though, because one of the things that was very scary was the fact that a lot of the symptoms that I had were actually symptoms of a major complication after gastric bypass. So the question became, how do you know the difference between when you're having a complication and when you're just sick and you should wait? And after talking to the surgeons and talking to my nurse, there's really not a whole lot of way for you to tell other than the wait and see. But as my mom used to always say, and how I've kind of adopted over the years, if it's bad, it'll get worse. And with me, I kind of got to a certain point and just kind of stayed feeling shitty for that amount of time and then started feeling better. I started feeling significantly better maybe around Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. I still have a little bit of sensitivity. And one of the other things that I had learned was that if you have vomiting that happens, especially so close after surgery, the recommended response is rest. It's GI rest. So I got put on fluids, and only fluids, clear fluids, no protein, for a day, and then I was put on clear fluids for a day, and then stepping back into foods and other things very gradually and very sensitively. And I guess I always thought that no matter what, I had to get, you know, a certain kind of protein, and I had to try and eat food and stuff. And I was actually making the situation worse. And the reason why they put you on some belly rest is because, you know, the heaving and throwing up can cause a lot of swelling, and it'll just make you feel gross, and it can make you get food stuck, cause pain, all that kind of stuff. So I was really glad that I learned that kind of early, so that later on down the line I know how to respond appropriately. So that was one of the things that I learned this week, and I decided I wanted to share a different thing with you guys this week as well. So I have two other things I wanted to share with you. So I'll go to the short and sweet one. I got to announce this week that in the last 9 months I've lost 70 pounds. It kind of split 30 before and 40 after the surgery at this point. But 70 pounds in 9 months is pretty significant. When you consider the fact that a healthy goal for weight loss in general is 1 to 2 pounds a week, we're a little bit ahead of schedule in that regard. And so, well, I guess I'm approximately at 2 pounds a week for the last 9 months on average. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm also really happy to be able to say that, you know, 30 of it happened prior to surgery, because sometimes you feel like you have to apologize when you're talking in the weight loss community and when you're talking to people about healthy lifestyles and stuff. You feel like you kind of have to apologize, like, I'm sorry, but I had surgery, so part of this weight loss is surgery related. It has nothing to do with just diet and exercise, even though the resulting weight loss from surgery is primarily from diet and exercise. It just kind of feels like you've got a little oomph behind you that maybe other people will resent, and you start off with an apology. And I'm really trying to work on that to make it so that I'm not belittling the effort that I've made. And I really don't think anybody should when they've had surgery, because it's not an easy decision. It's not an easy thing to get to do. And it's definitely not a life choice that most people would want to live with. So you have to be able to recognize that in yourself. So anyway, the third thing, I wanted to share one of the other things that I use, because my last video I shared the vitamins that I use, and I was told that it was actually very helpful and had some good information. So I wanted to share one of the things that I think was the top best thing that I've done for myself, especially because I'm what they call a desk jockey, meaning I sit at a desk in an office all day long. And back when I was 535 pounds and trying to figure out, like, how am I going to change my life, I wanted to put little changes into what I was already doing, including work. And so I started out with drinking more water, watching my calories, and then I added something under my desk. I put a little set of pedals, and I call it my desk bike. Well, back then I had just a standard set of pedals on a frame, and I used it constantly, and that helped me. Like, initially I was just concerned with getting my circulation up, making sure that I was burning just a little bit extra calories. I really didn't think that it was going to make a huge impact, but back then it was a major contributor in the reason why I lost my first 50 pounds. So now that I'm still at a desk and I still need to be active and I still need to work on my circulation and I still need to make sure that everything is burning and everything's going great, I actually have a brand new kind of cycle that I use, and I have one at home and I have one at work. So I can use one while I'm watching TV and I can use one while I'm working at work. And it has been very impacting in regards to getting my legs moving, making sure my heart rate gets up, toning. Like, my legs are significantly smaller now. It's helped with my back pain. It's helped with my abdominals. And you can also use it for your arms. And, you know, today we did 2-month post-op photographs, and I feel like it really showed. So I was just going to show it on camera. It's kind of heavy. But I use this. It's a fairly big machine in comparison to standard set of pedals. But this machine is a magnetic resistance it's equivalent to a standard stationary bike in regards to the kinds of effort that you can put on the actual machine. It has a monitor that shows mileage, calories burned, and time. And that's how I track my New Year's resolution of my 3,000 miles in 2017. And I adore it. I really do. It's one of the single best investments that I've made in my health. It makes my workday move along. It helps me stay warm. I always feel more energized. It helped me cut down my caffeine, helped me feel like I needed more water. And I highly, highly recommend it for anybody who is primarily sedentary or somebody who suffers knee pain, back pain from impact exercises like walking and running, because what it does is it makes it so you can use any chair, you can use your couch, you can, you know, use it in any place that you want to sit, and get some exercise, get some extra calorie burn, tone some muscles, and, you know, feel a little bit more energetic and productive. I really think that it's worth it. So there's this kind, but there are so many different models out there. So you can go as low as, I think I've seen, you know, basic models as low as $10, and really advanced models up to $1,000. This one cost about $200 when I bought it, and it was worth every penny. So anyway, I am going to sign off for today, but if you have any questions or you'd like a link to get a bike like mine, just let me know and I will give it to you in the comments. All right? Have a nice day, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.